continue with page 3 here. We got question 17. Deforestation increases the greenhouse effect on Earth because deforestation causes the atmosphere to contain. All right, well, trees, they're made out of carbon. They're embodied carbon on Earth. And when they biodegrade, they release that carbon. And we know that carbon dioxide is a greenhouse gas directly associated with the greenhouse effect. So the more kind of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, the problem with it is that it, yes, it does absorb infrared radiation. So here's the answer for number 17. Okay, number 18. Interior of Earth between a depth of 5,200 kilometers and 6,300 kilometers. It's inferred to be composed of. So we got these depths, and we want to know what it's made out of there. So the Earth's interior diagram is on page 10 here, the reference table. And we've been given a depth of 5,200 to 6,300 kilometers. So if we come down, that would be in this general region on the depth. So we're going to keep this dotted line, which is approximately 5,200 kilometers. So we're going to keep what's over on the right-hand side of it, that boundary, as we come up. And we find that this inner core here, it's made out of iron and nickel, and therefore we know what we're looking for. Okay. And it's over here. And iron and nickel tris 4. All right. Number 19. Two processes that lead directly to the formation of both breccia and conglomerate. And some of us, through our experience with the rocks already know and that breccia and conglomerate are both sedimentary rocks. And here we find them in the scheme for sedimentary identification. And here they are. So if you don't know that, then you'll have to search through the rocks and you'll find them here in the sedimentary one. And now, if you remember that sedimentary rocks, well, their process of forming is through compaction and burial, cementation, or you can use the previous page in the reference table to watch how sediments get, deposited, buried, compacted, and cemented together to form these. So burial, compaction, cementation, these are all the processes involved. And when we look at these, we've got compaction and cementation clocking in at number 3 here. Okay. Number 20, we've got igneous rock is dark colored, cooled rapidly on Earth's surface, and is composed mainly of plagioclase, feldspar, olivine, and pyroxene. So we want igneous rock dark. So we're thinking igneous mafic. Cooled rapidly would tell us, okay, Earth's surface, so it's extrusive, and it's mainly got plagioclase, feldspar, olivine, and pyroxene. So the thing that's going to, help us out here is the olivine and the pyroxene because we've got extrusive rock, so we know we're in this region. Uh, let's see here. We know that the color was darker, right? There are these mafic ones, and olivine and pyroxene, we find them over here. So we got this mafic extrusive rock. So here we are over here, and it's got to be one of these ones. And when we look at our answer choices available, um, extrusive would have to be scoria would I believe be the extrusive one. Right? Scoria is an extrusive texture. Right? Gabbro, intrusive rock, so gabbro would not be able to be used. All right, great. So let's see here. Back over here. That's going. Yeah, that's going down. Okay. Uh, Now we got a silicate mineral. Silicate minerals contain the elements silicon and oxygen, which list contains only silicate minerals. So we've got a list of basic minerals here. So we know to go to the last page in the reference table to the mineral chart, page 16. And so we've got the composition of these minerals, and we're looking for silicon and oxygen. If you remember, it's Si and O. That's great. If not, down here, we can see that we got Si and O down at the bottom, and we're going to be looking for minerals that have that in it versus that don't have it in it, and we want to pick between all of these. Let's see. We got graphite, only silicate minerals. Well, we know graphite is composed of carbon. The only difference between graphite and diamond is the way that it was formed, and so we know graphite itself isn't silicate, so we can rule that out right away. We do know that quartz is. Quartz is pure, silicon and oxygen. And so maybe we could check out the other potassium, feldspar, and amphibole and see what they have in them. So plagioclase feldspar has Si and O. It is a silicate. Potassium feldspar has SiO, it is a silicate. So both the feldspars are actually silicates, and so is the amphibole here at SiNO in those different compositions. So we know that all of these certainly are, and double check the quartz, right? Off the reference table if you didn't remember that. It is there as well. Fantastic. All right. Number 22. The map below labeled ABC show, or yeah, the maps below labeled A, B, and C show three different stream drainage patterns. Which factor is primarily responsible for causing these three different drainage patterns? Okay, well, drainage patterns are going to come from water, right? Drainage water. So, generally speaking, it would have to be due to the way that the water was flowing off of an area, correct? So, the thing that's going to control the way that water is going to flow out of an area could be many, many things, and but primarily the structure of the bedrock is going to, the gradient of the slope is going to, gravity is going to be working on the water, and whatever structure there is in that rock is largely going to determine the rates of weathering and over time. So, brachiopod fossils were found in a layer of limestone rock. In which type of environment did the limestone layer form? Okay, brachiopod fossil. So, limestone rock. Okay, so what we know that limestone is a sedimentary rock, and it could form from either the precipitation of seashells or salt, or I'm sorry, seashells for limestone, or it could also be plant remains. So we're not quite sure if we're talking which kind of limestone we're talking about. But if we look up a brachiopod fossil, uh, and on the geologic history charts on page is 8 and 9 here, right? We want brachiopods, so brachiopod family, which page. Okay, so now let's brachiopods. Over here, and we see that we got letters Z and Y on the brachiopod branch. Okay, so if we look up letters Z and Y for what kind of species seem to be represented by them, Z and Y, these look like clam shells or something of that nature, correct? So these would have to have lived in water. And when we look at the choices, we got shallow marine. Well, that's water. A interior grassland that's absolutely not a forest, absolutely not, and a coastal plain. It's a coastal plain is just a flat area that's near the water, whereas this is the one that's actually in the water. So we got a winner, and that's page 340.